Today's headline, the aftermath of Hurricane Irene. WHIG-TV is out in Rocky Mount talking to residents and bringing you a look at the damage. This coming up on NewsBreak starting now.
From WHIG-TV, this is NewsBreak 31. Now, here's Marie Torres.
Hello and thank you for watching WHIG NewsBreak, your voice in the community. I'm Marie Torres. Today's big story is coming right from the ground as thousands of area residents try to recover from the massive destruction of Hurricane Irene. Saturday around 7:30 a.m., Irene touched land on our coast with rain and winds up to 80 miles per hour. She reached far inland, as you can see with our exclusive coverage of Rocky Mount. Just days before the Category 1 hurricane tore through the state, Governor Beverly Perdue declared a state of emergency. Rocky Mount Mayor David Combs also declared the city in a state of emergency thereafter. The latest reports show that there have been at least 29 deaths in 8 states. In North Carolina, it's reported that 6 people died, with 1 death in Nashville. The wife of a 63-year-old man called authorities to report that her husband was killed Saturday morning as strong winds ripped a tree in half, hitting the man as he fed his horse outside. The report came in at 10:15 that morning. We've also learned of reports of extensive water damage at Tarboro High School, where water leakage turned some hallways into mini rivers. At least 2 classrooms were completely unusable at the school. Rocky Mount Preparatory, Edgecombe County, and Nash Rocky Mount Public Schools were closed today, as were Edgecombe and Nash Community Colleges. Over the weekend, shelters were available for evacuees coming from the coast in Rocky Mount and in Wilson. Englewood Baptist Church on Winstead Avenue in Rocky Mount was one of those locations. The Frederick E. Turnage chapter of the American Red Cross held a feed kitchen at Englewood Baptist this afternoon for those in the community without power. What several residents have told us and what our cameras also captured was the impeccable work being done by workers with City Utility and Public Works, many of whom were even out as early as Saturday night in the wind and rain trying to clean up. And with an update here with us now with the City of Rocky Mount and Public Utilities is Richard Warsinger. Give us an update. How many people were without power?
We have a little over 27,000 customers, Marie, and at the height of the storm, we had 26,000 of those without power.
Okay, and what about now?
Right now, we're at about 7,800.
Okay.
So the majority of our customers have had their power restored. We're less than 30% to go.
Okay.
And our crews are out there working. Our crews have been working 16-hour days. We have crews working at night. We also have 5 crews that have joined us from outside the city. We have two from Orangeburg, South Carolina, 1 from Union, South Carolina, 1 from Newton, North Carolina, and 1 from Lumberton, North Carolina. Okay. And in addition to that, we have 4 of tree crews, contractor tree crews, who are here removing all these trees that have fallen and taken down our lines. Okay, and I understand you have some more information for some of our residents here. Tell us. Yes, probably the message I really want people to take away from this is please be patient. It takes time to do this. There are sections of the city where we have the entire block or blocks, the wires are on the ground. We've got to put new poles up, new cross arms, string that wire, and we have to do it safely. And we have a challenge nowadays that we didn't have 10, 15 years ago. It's the people that have a generator. When their power goes out, they turn on their generator, and if they didn't have that generator installed properly using a licensed electrician, there's a possibility it could feed back into our system and energize that wire that otherwise would be dead. Oh, wow. It endangers our crews, and it also endangers the public. If that wire on the ground, a child could pick that up, or an adult thinking it's dead, and it wouldn't be. So we ask people if they do have a generator, make sure it was hooked up by a licensed electrician.
Okay, and we were discussing a little earlier, you said how the system works. You were referring it even to a tree, right?
Yes, I know we'll have people that are calling in, my neighbor's up the street power is on and mine's not. And if you, the best way to look at it, our electric distribution system, like most utilities, works kind of like a tree. And think of that, each circuit is a branch on that tree, and then there are individual little branches coming off of that main branch. If we have a problem on one of those little branches, it would shut the power off on that entire branch. We try to go out and quickly isolate that, open up a switch to isolate that area where the problem is, and then turn the power back on that branch. So those leaves that where we've disconnected, they're off, but we do that to try and get as many people on it as quickly as possible. And that's always our goal, is to restore power to as many customers as possible.
Right.
And I know that frustrates some people, the individual customers that might have a wire down to their home, or that maybe a half block area that everybody else is on except them. And we ask them to be patient, but we are working to restore power to the most customers as possible.
Okay.
Also, I think it's worth mentioning this storm, what was a devastating storm, caused extensive damage to our system, all over our system. That's out in the county, that's in West Haven, that's over in Edgecombe County side. It's everywhere, and we have crews working in all areas of the city.
Right.
And people might say, well, nothing's happening in my area to fix my power. Well, think of that tree branch again. We might be on another section of that branch working on it, and you don't see us, but please be assured our crews are out there working 16 hours a day. They go home. Some of them are going home to no power, get a good night's sleep as best as they can, and they're back at it the next day.
All right, and speaking of those workers that are out there, we heard them out there as early as Saturday, the night of the actual, or the day of the actual hurricane.
We had our crews in early, and as the storm kept growing, we tried to do some things, but once that wind speed, the sustained wind speed hit 35 miles an hour, we stopped our work, and we have to do that for two reasons. First, there's the safety aspect of it. We don't want a bucket truck blowing over or something like that. And the other is just a practicality. It's harder to put stuff up in those high winds. Think of holding a cross arm in that 50, 60 mile an hour wind, and you tire the workers out quicker if you're doing that. And the best thing to do is just wait for that storm to blow through, and that one certainly took a lot longer than we had expected. But wait for that storm to blow through and then start putting the pieces back together.
Okay, and then finally, many people are probably wondering, and I'm itching to ask you this question. Do you know, I know you may not be able to make any promises right now, about when do you think the city will be completely restored?
We're hoping by the end of the day, Thursday, to have all of our circuits, our feeders, and tap lines up, and then we will start working on those individual services to homes. Okay. So we're hoping the end of the day, Thursday, and to get the main power up, but then to the individual homes this weekend. But I have to tell you, we've had areas of the city where it's been blocked off because of trees being down that we have not been able to get to it yet to see what's out there. As those areas are being cleared, we're of course finding more and more damage, and it's depressing to see it. But again, we just ask people, please be patient.
Right, and thank you so much for all the work that you all have been doing. We do appreciate that.
You're welcome, and we have received a lot of phone calls, a lot of Facebook messages, people saying the same thing, and our guys do appreciate, the guys and ladies.
All right, well good. Thank you so much.
Thank you
for being with us today. And we'll also have later updates later on in the show, but up next, more storm coverage. See what some area residents are dealing with. We'll be right back. When it's happening to you, you'll hear from us. WHIG TV NewsBreak is reporting on the news, issues, and stories that matter to you. Call us at 252-885-1814. Email us at marie.whigtv@gmail.com or check us streaming live at whigtv.com. We're your voice, ready to bring you the news.
The Country Inn & Suites is your home away from home with a staff that always treats you as family. If you or your church or company has visitors, give them a great Rocky Mount welcome with a special discount on their overnight or extended stay. Not only is the Country Inn & Suites a comfortable place, we'll spoil them with fresh cookies and complimentary breakfast. We are filled with luxuries like an indoor pool, fitness center, and a guest laundry. The business center includes a boardroom, connection to high-speed internet, and catering for meetings is always available. Call me, Donovan Chavis, at 252-442-0500 for a tour and or to set up your corporate rate. You're always welcome as family in the Country Inn & Suites, Rocky Mount.
Welcome back to a special WHIG-TV news break. I'm Marie Torres. Today we were out in the community trying to assess where we could. Though many had power today, even more neighborhoods were attempting to avoid downed power lines. The community near Hawthorne and Nottingham roads is still devastated. One resident, Deborah Kinchelow, told us that she could hear loud noises all through the night, later to find out that the sounds were coming from trees snapping and slamming to the ground or on property. She said transmitters and power lines were also falling. She describes the scene she saw at daylight like a war zone in a jungle, as several downed trees blocked the entrances in and out of the neighborhood. Kinchelow says a 5-minute walk to an open Harris Teeter took her 15 minutes to navigate through the dangerous area. This resident, who said her car was damaged but she's thankful for her life today, told us she was next door at her home when a huge tree slammed into her neighbor's house. The man and woman who lived there were actually inside when the tree came down, but thankfully were unharmed. Though they were not on site while we were there, neighbors said the home and the vehicles parked there suffered much damage, as at least 6 trees crushed the property. Yet another resident in this community heard when a large tree toppled his garage. And were you home when this happened?
Yes, we were home.
What did it sound like when all this happened?
It was like just a really loud crack, boom. It happened very quickly.
Okay.
Yeah.
And were you all mostly situated on the other side, basically?
Yeah, we were under the 2-story section, just watching, looking out the windows and stuff, and just all of a sudden, crack, boom, it was over.
All right. About what time did it happen?
It was Saturday around 11 a.m.
Okay. And so have you had any help from neighbors or anything?
Oh, yeah. Yes, all the neighbors came out yesterday. We all helped each other clean up all the debris out of our yards and stuff, so yeah, it's been fun. You thankful today? Oh yeah, I'm thankful. We'll be hearing more from this resident and be assessing more of the damage for you in our live news at noon tomorrow. We'll take a quick break and be back with more on what residents can do now and a message from Rocky Mount's Mayor David Combs. Don't go anywhere. We're your news team, bringing it home to you with meteorologist Fred Holdsworth, anchor Marie Torres, sports reporter Edward Green, and Matt Habit, our studio guy. WHIG-TV Newsbreak, your voice in the community.
The Country Inn & Suites is your home away from home with a staff that always treats you as family. If you or your church or company has visitors, give them a great Rocky Mount welcome with a special discount on their overnight or extended stay. Not only is the Country Inn & Suites a comfortable place, we'll spoil them with fresh cookies and complimentary breakfast. We are filled with luxuries like an indoor pool, fitness center, and a guest laundry. The business center includes a boardroom, connection to high-speed internet, and catering for meetings is always available. Call me, Donna Chavis, at 252-442-0500 for a tour and or to set up your corporate rate. You're always welcome as family in the Country Inn & Suites, Rocky Mount.
Thanks for staying tuned. Rocky Mount's Mayor David Combs has declared the city in a state of emergency. And with that, he has this message for residents.
I'm David Combs, Mayor of Rocky Mount. I want to take a few moments to update you on the city's efforts to respond to the damaging effects of Hurricane Irene. First, our thoughts and prayers are with everyone who has been affected by this storm, both here in Rocky Mount and in communities along the East Coast. Hurricane Irene has reminded all of us that we have much to be thankful for. Since Saturday, our city crews and emergency response personnel have been working to restore power, clear roadways of trees and other storm debris, and provide assistance to those affected by Hurricane Irene. Here in Rocky Mount, we experienced sustained winds up to 50 miles per hour with wind gusts above 60 miles per hour. This significant wind event created extensive damage to our electric system, causing power outages to most of our customers. At one point on Saturday afternoon, more than 26,000 customers were without power. As of Sunday evening, our crews are still working to restore power to more than 11,000 customers. Due to the extent of the damage, it will be days before power can be restored to all of our customers. We already know that parts of our electric system must be completely rebuilt. To assist us with this tremendous restoration effort, we have requested and received assistance from other public power communities. Electric crews from Lumberton and Newton, North Carolina, and from Union and Orangeburg, South Carolina, are already here in Rocky Mount. They work side by side with our electric crews in restoring power throughout our community. We appreciate your patience as our crews work to restore power as many customers as possible, as quickly as possible. Again, due to the extent of the damage, it will take days before power is restored to our entire electric system. I also want to share some information from our Public Works Department. Public work crews are focused on clearing trees, limbs, and storm debris in the roadway. Over the next several weeks, our crews will be working to collect storm-related debris throughout Rocky Mount. We ask you to place storm-related debris at the edge of your property. Again, it will take weeks before our crews can collect all the storm-related debris in Rocky Mount. Storm debris needs to be separated into 3 piles at the edge of your property. Make 1 pile for limbs and yard debris, a second pile for structural debris such as shingles or siding, and a third pile for any metal debris such as fencing. Please take great care to keep debris out of the street and out of the ditches. We anticipate that garbage and recycling collection will be continued as scheduled this week. Please stay tuned for more messages from our city staff. You can help us by sharing these messages with others, particularly those that are still without power. On one final note, as you are attempting to clean up damage and debris from the storm, we caution you in dealing with contractors. We remind you to use reputable contractors and never pay for services in advance of the work being completed. If you have suspicions about possible scams in your neighborhood, call the Rocky Mount Police Department at 972-1411. Again, we thank you for your patience as city crews are working to serve you.
Again, that was a message from the City of Rocky Mount's Mayor David Combs. The latest update with our area schools is that Rocky Mount Preparatory, Edgecombe County, and Nash Rocky Mount Public Schools will be closed Tuesday, as will East Carolina University. North Carolina Wesleyan, which was closed today, reports that it plans to have regular classes resume Tuesday and that they only suffered minor damage. Well, that's all for us here tonight on Newsbreak. Join us again tomorrow for our live news at noon. For WHIG TV, I'm Marie Torres. Please be safe out.